Okay, I think we have enough, it looks like, for quorum. And hopefully the public link is out and people who are wishing to log on can. So I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 8:05 this morning. Happy Aloha Friday, everyone. If you are a panelist and can turn on your camera, I would appreciate it. Thank you. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to Part 1 of Chapter 92 Hawaii Revised Statutes and board compliance with the notice requirements pursuant to those provisions. At this time, I'll move to the agenda. Lauren, would you mind doing a roll call and so we can determine whether or not we have quorum? You're on mute, Lauren.
Yes. Okay. Oh, and also each board member can state that they're in a non-public location and identify any persons with any personal, business, property, or financial interests on any issue before the board at the meeting.
Hi, this is Jordan Lowe. I don't have the Zoom link. Can somebody send it to me?
Okay. Holly Shikata?
Present, I'm here in my office alone.
No, this is Jordan Lowe.
Hi, Lauren. Can you hear Jordan? I think he's coming across as David Rodriguez, but he doesn't have the link. Jordan, we just sent a new one. Brandon just sent a new link out to the emails. Can you check and see if you got a recent email?
No, that's fine. We can just change the name.
Yeah, Jordan needs the Zoom link.
Oh, hi, David. He looked like he was coming across on your speaker.
Yeah, he was talking on the other side. Are we supposed to have both open? I'm not sure.
Just the Zoom for now.
Just the Zoom. Okay, I'll close the Teams.
Sorry, Jordan's not on the list that I have. David, can you send him your link and then we'll just change the name?
Oh, I just lost them.
Oh.
Sorry. He got the link now. Jordan got the link.
Okay.
Okay, if you are on the Teams meeting, please ensure that you have muted your mic. Mr. Lowe, if you could, oh. Mr. Lowe, if you could mute your mic on the Teams meeting. Okay, right. Calling to order the Law Enforcement Standards Board meeting for December 2nd, 2022. I will now begin roll call. If each of the members could identify that they are present in a non-public location alone. However, if you are with someone else in the room, please identify who they are and whether or not they have any personal business or interest in any of the matters to be discussed in the meeting today. First, Holly Shikata,
Okay, present in a non-public location alone.
Tommy Johnson. I believe he may be coming late. David Rodriguez,
Present, alone in my office.
Todd Raybuck,
Present and alone in a non-public location.
John Pelletier,
Present, alone, non-public.
Kenneth Bugado,
Present, alone, non-public.
I believe Sherry Bird will be coming late, along with Adrian Dapwa will also be coming in late.
Lauren, I'm on.
Oh,
Uh,
Sherry, sorry,
Sherry.
Sherry Bird.
Yeah, I'm here in a non-public location alone.
Nicholas Corson,
Present, non-public location alone. And Lauren, I don't see the Teams link. Can you send it to me again? Thanks.
will do. Craig Tanaka,
Present, non-public, alone.
Jordan Lowe.
I'm present and alone, but I need to bring one thing up. I'm technically, I'm no longer the deputy director for public safety because I was appointed in November 9th as the interim director for Department of Law Enforcement. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to attend this, or do you want me to wait until we get the new deputy director for public safety?
We have quorum regardless, so that's fine.
Jordan, if you don't mind just being present, I'm sure that you will still remain a member of the board in your new capacity, and I'm happy to nominate you in that new role as the chair once you do come back and we confirm you're on the board. So stick around.
Okay, Todd, if that's okay, that's fine.
With 10 members currently present, we do have quorum.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 2, public testimony. At this time, I don't see any members of the public logged on. Lauren, do we still need to go through the preamble of public testimony, or can we move forward since there's no one in the call?
I can confirm that there was no previously submitted written testimony, and it does not appear that there is any public present at this meeting. So I think we can skip that preamble.
Okay, then moving forward, we'll move to agenda item number 3, approval of the board minutes for August 30, 2022 meeting and executive session meetings for the LSB meeting on August 30, 2022. As you all know, the board packet was not sent out before the meeting. I want to thank Lauren for all of her diligence in typing up the very lengthy minutes for both the open session and executive session. Because it was not prepared and distributed within 48 hours of the meeting, I'm going to ask Lauren to distribute those meeting minutes now. So you should be getting an email here shortly with the open session meeting minutes as well as the executive session meeting minutes. Once that goes out, the AG's office will also post the open session meeting minutes on their website for the public to be able to review. I would like you all to have a moment to receive and then for us to have some time to hopefully review those minutes because they are lengthy. I would like to ask for if there is a motion to postpone any discussion and approval of the board minute meetings and take this matter out of order to be discussed at a later time in the agenda.
Chief, do you just want to defer to our next meeting? I mean, the minutes have to be posted. They're probably correct. If we want to move to correct them, we could always just motion that at the next meeting or move to approve them at that time. That way we're not trying to rush through them.
Yeah, if you'd like to make a motion to defer, I'll entertain that motion.
Okay, I move to defer approval of the minutes to our next meeting with the knowledge that the Attorney General's office will be posting the draft minutes online to comply with sunshine law.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Okay, so who did the second, please?
It was John, I did.
Okay, thank you. All right. Holly, if we don't need a roll call vote, can I just ask for a vote?
Yes, you could just ask for a vote.
Okay, if you guys would unmute your mics and all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries to defer agenda item number 3, the approval of the board minutes for the August 30, 2022 meeting for the next Law Enforcement Standards Board meeting in order to allow the board members and the public time to review those board meeting minutes. Moving on to agenda item number 4, a report from the Permitted Interaction Group regarding the proposed administrative rules, bylaws of the board. The members were Corson, Bird, and Dakwa. So is anyone prepared to provide a report at this time?
On behalf of the PIG, I'll ask that this matter be deferred until the next meeting. I think we need a little bit more time to iron out some of the details.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to defer?
Also move.
Thank you, Adrian. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Who is that?
Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry. I don't see the green box pop up sometimes. I don't know who it is. Okay, if you would unmute your mics, can I have a vote for all in favor of deferring the report from the Permitted Interaction Group regarding the proposed administrative rules, bylaws of the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll defer. Moving on to agenda item number 5, proposed board legislation. Matters which require consultation with the board's attorneys on questions and issues pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities will be discussed in executive session pursuant to subsection 92-5 A4 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. So at this time, I would like to request a motion to take this matter out of order in order for us to be able to reserve this discussion in executive session, as we may need to discuss in executive session matters where consultation of the board's attorney may be necessary on this item. So can I have a motion to defer?
So
Move to
moved.
defer.
Thank you, AG Shikata. Second?
I second.
Thank you, Nick. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we will defer for executive session. Moving on to agenda item number 6, update on the board budget request. Lauren, do you have anything to update on this agenda item? Or Lance?
So as previously discussed, the board budget request was included in the AG's budget proposals for a total of $278,000 as listed in the agenda. Those are the specific line items and amounts for those requests that are being made. The purpose of listing that is we believe that it would assist us getting those those particular budget items included in or approved. Lance, do you have anything to add? Looks like Lance does not have anything to add.
Okay. So in summary, our previous legislative requests included funding requests from the legislature to be able to hire and support the items that are listed out under agenda item number 6. And so the discussion is to, or the AG's office now will include that amount of funds, the $278,000 in the Attorney General budget request. And so therefore it would not be in any subsequent legislation. So Lauren, before I move towards board discussion, I noticed that we do have a member of the public on the call now. So could I ask that you go ahead and refer to or advise how to do public testimony?
Yes. If you'd like to testify from the Zoom meeting, click the raise your hand icon and we will promote you to a panelist, and your Zoom meeting will shut down briefly and restart automatically. You'll be prompted to unmute your microphone and you can enable your camera to have your face appear. For those participating by phone, you may indicate you want to testify by entering star and then 9 on your phone's keypad. After entering star and then 9, a voice prompt will let you know that the host of the meeting has been notified. When recognized by the chairperson, you may unmute yourself by pressing star and then 6 on your phone. A voice prompt will let you know that you are unmuted. Once you are finished speaking, please enter star and then 6 again to mute yourself. For both internet and phone access, when testifying, you will be asked to identify yourself and the organization, if any, that you represent. Each testifier will be limited to 3 minutes of testimony per agenda item.
You're on mute.
You're mute.
Oh, God.
Well, now I have to repeat myself, and I did it so well when you guys couldn't hear me. Thank you, Lauren. If there's any member of the public that would like to testify at this time regarding agenda item number 6, please either raise your hand or notify us at this time. Hearing and seeing none, I'll open up the floor for discussion by the board regarding agenda item number 6. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. Is the administrator salary only to be 60,000? Is this a supplement of some sort?
I think it's represents half the salary. I think the way the budget works in the fiscal year, I think this is meant to supplement the back end for the second half
Got
of the
it.
year.
Because we're at December already, so we're only asking for half the fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay. That was it for me.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I would just like to thank the Attorney General's office for including the board's request in the budget for the Attorney General's office. I hope that we'll be successful in obtaining the approval for that budget so that we can continue to do the important work that the legislature has asked us to do here at the Law Enforcement Standards Board. So thank you so much, Attorney General Shikata.
Absolutely.
Okay, then hearing no further discussion on agenda item number 6, I will ask for a vote to approve the Attorney General's including in the budget the Law Enforcement Standards Board into their annual budget proposal. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second the
Thank you.
motion.
Thank you, Adrian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 7, a report from the Permitted Interaction Group regarding board positions and staffing. The members are Corson, Raybuck, Dakwa, Bird, and Jason Radula. Anyone have an update on the Permitted Interaction Group?
I think we're pretty much done with the position descriptions, but I think we need a little bit more time to accomplish the other enumerated tasks under subsection 7A. I would make a motion at this time to defer this to the next meeting so we can finalize the report to present to the board at the next meeting.
Thank you, Adrian. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Nick. All in favor to defer item number 7, a report from the Permitted Interaction Group regarding board positions and staffing? Can I have all who are in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries to defer to the next meeting. Thank you. And thank you both to both pigs for all the work that you've been doing on these items. I appreciate it. Look forward to the proposals and findings being presented to the board at a future meeting. Moving on to item number 8, annual report on the Law Enforcement Standards Board. As you all know, every year we are required to submit an annual report, and the Attorney General's office helps to prepare that report. And so, Lauren, would you like to discuss that at this time? Share the draft copy for the board's review?
Sure. Brandon, can you allow me to share this document on my screen?
You should be able to share.
I host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, let's see. Okay, try now. Okay.
Okay, so this is our draft of the annual report of the board. Essentially, the first section above section 1, Law Enforcement Standards Board, just discusses the purpose of this report, describing the activities of the board, accounting for any expenditures that we may have, and summarizing any recommended legislation that we plan on introducing. Moving to section 1, the Law Enforcement Standards Board. This section basically describes, it's almost lifted from the statute and the act that enacted this board, all of the requirements and duties of the board and responsibilities of the board. This comes directly from HR Hawaii Revised Statutes 139-3. And then moving to section 2, activities of the board. If the board could take some time to review, these are short summaries of each of our meetings. We had 3 meetings this year, the first being on January 26th, the second one being August 30th, and today's meeting. On the January 6th meeting, the board discussed and recommended, or the board received reports and was recommended by, or formed a PIG 1, which was tasked to contact other law enforcement agencies to receive standards and standards for the boards for sharing and gathering information to assist the board in establishing our own law enforcement officer standards in Hawaii. And based on the PIG's recommendation, the board also approved the PIG 1's recommendation to secure dedicated funding for the board. Secondly, the board conducted deliberations and decision makings based off of the report of Permitted Interaction Group 2, which was tasked to propose administrative rules for adoption by the board. The board did approve the recommended proposed administrative rules and then submitted those proposed rules to the Attorney General's office for review and briefing. the board distributed its model minimum standards from the International Association of Directors of Law Enforcement Standards and Training for the board to review and discuss at a later time. And lastly, the board discussed pending legislation for the 2022 legislative session and authorized the chair or his or her designee to reach out to the legislature and request hearings on the bills and submit testimony on behalf of the board. At our August 30th meeting, the board received a report from the Department of the Attorney General regarding its review of the board's proposed administrative rules, and essentially was advised regarding the rulemaking process. It also discussed proposed administrative rules and created another permitted interaction group to further work on the proposed administrative rules and may actually essentially create bylaws instead. Third, it received a status report from the Attorney General's office regarding the two proposed bills of the board presented to the 2022 legislative session, Senate Bill 1046 and House Bill 892, both of which were not passed by the legislature. As the Attorney General's office also, due to the non-passing of those bills, the Attorney General's office also reported to the board regarding matters that remain unaddressed that are of interest to the board. Lastly, the board discussed funding received by the legislature for two positions, its board administrator as well as its office assistant, which was gained through the budget for the Department of the Attorney General, and created a permitted interaction group, PIG 3, to draft position descriptions and recommend hiring processes. This is where we may need to be doing some tweaking because this discusses today's meeting. This basically follows the agenda. So at first, we received a status report. We would have to change this to show that permitted interaction group 2 asked to defer its report. And then also in the second, we would also have to do we would be receiving a report in executive session today from the Attorney General's office regarding our proposed board legislation, which essentially seeks to address all of the outstanding issues that were not addressed by the last session, as well as discussing how the board plans to introduce such legislation. And I tentatively put that we voted to approve, but that can also be changed based on our discussions in executive session. Third, the board received a budget from the Attorney General's office regarding the budget request, its inclusion in the Department of the Attorney General's budget proposal, as well as received details of the proposed budget. And I can add that we voted to, the board voted to approve the proposed board budget and its inclusion into the Department of the Attorney General's budget proposal. Fourth, the board received a status report from Permitted Interaction Group 3 regarding the board administrator, board office assistant draft positions, and hiring processes. I believe this one was also deferred. So we can change this to state that this matter was deferred to the following meeting. And lastly, that it reviewed and approved the board annual report. Since the moving to section 3, since the board did not have funding, there was no expenditures. And lastly, the section 4 discusses our recommended legislation, which basically seeks to address all of the matters listed here under recommended legislation. This is the same language from our agenda. So I'm not sure if you would like me to, if you'd like to move to a different topic while I make the necessary changes and review it and send it back out to the board, or share the screen after those changes are made. Chair?
Thank you, Lauren. So I think what we should do first is, based on the information that you've provided, I'd like to ask if there's any members of the public that would wish to testify or provide testimony on behalf of this agenda item. So if any member of the public would like to provide testimony, now is your time to let us know and take that opportunity. Hearing none and seeing none. I think I would move, Lauren, thank you so much first for the review of the annual report. I would move, or I would ask if there be a motion to defer this until we come out of executive session. I think that there may be a couple additional items that potentially could change regarding our proposed legislation based upon any discussion we have in executive session. If that's okay, then we could come back into the open session and finalize and discuss the remainder of the report and then move to approve. Any discussion? Is there a move to defer? Can I get a motion to defer this until we come back from executive session?
Move to defer until we return from executive session.
Thank you, Nick. And a second?
Second the motion.
All right. I don't think I need to do a roll call vote for that, or a vote for that, right? We can just defer.
Well, I mean, if there's a motion,
Then
there
we'll
should
do
probably
it.
be a vote on it.
Okay. All in favor of deferring until after executive session, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we will defer until we come out of executive session. So at this time, Aaron, Lauren, I think we'll move to executive session to discuss agenda item number, where's it at? Sorry, I got my agenda out of order. Agenda item number 5. So at this time, I'd move to executive session, or ask for a motion to move to executive session to discuss agenda item number 5, proposed board legislation. And the request to do so is so that matters which require consultation with the board's attorneys on questions and issues pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, and immunities and liabilities will be discussed in executive session pursuant to section 92-5A4 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. In executive session, we'll review proposed legislation which seeks to address deadlines for completing board's responsibilities, other board costs such as workspace, contract researcher, travel, board members, operational costs such as copying and supplies, personnel not exempt from civil service requirements under Chapter 76 Hawaii Revised Statutes, amending the number of members from 5 instead of 2 law enforcement officer members, designees for all ex officio members, extend the terms of the members from 3 years to 4 years, and accepting from the certification requirement those law enforcement officers who were employed before July 1st, 2023, and termination of employment would violate any collective bargaining agreement. So can I have a motion to move into executive session?
So move.
Okay,
Second.
second. Thank you, Nick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, hearing none, it's 8:39 according to my time. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes or 3 minutes. Let's just do 3 minutes to log into your teams. Just as a reminder, you should at least mute your speaker and your video on this screen, move to your Teams meeting, and then we'll be able to come back to this as soon as we're done with executive session. See you there.
Hey, Chief, if you'd like to note the time of returning to open session and instruct me when you're prepared to do the roll call, or when you'd like me to perform the roll call.
Thank you, Lauren. I'll give it just another 30 seconds or so. If you all can turn your cameras back on. If you are a member. All right, Lauren, I'll go ahead and call the open session meeting of the Law Enforcement Standards Board, December 2nd, 2022 back to order at 10:06 a.m. Lauren, could you do a roll call vote, please? Roll call, please.
Holly Shikata,
Present, non-public alone.
David Rodriguez,
Present, non-public alone.
Jason Radula,
Present, non-public, alone.
Chief Raybuck,
Present, non-public alone.
Chief Pelletier,
Present, non-public alone.
Chief Fugato,
Present, non-public, alone.
Sherry Bird,
Present, non-public alone.
Jared Radula,
Present, non-public, alone.
Adrian Dakwa,
Present, non-public alone.
Nicholas Corson,
Present, non-public alone.
and Craig Tanaka.
Present, non-public, alone.
And that is quorum.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, moving back to the agenda, I'd like to go to agenda item number 5, proposed board legislation, and open the floor for any discussion regarding any changes that were made and or the discussion on the proposed legislation. If there's no discussion, I'll accept a motion to approve the legislation as drafted.
I move to approve the legislation as drafted.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Craig Tanaka.
Okay, Craig, we'll take you for the second. If we can have a vote, please, all in favor of the proposed legislation for the upcoming legislative session, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Sorry. Any opposed? Hearing none, the board adopts the proposed legislation for the next legislative session. Moving to item number 8, the annual report on the Law Enforcement Standards Board. If you could bring that report back up, Lauren, for our review and discussion. So I would like to open the floor for discussion regarding some of the changes that needed to be made to mirror our current meeting on December 2nd. And so I think the language in number 1 is correct. Does anybody see any need to change anything on number 1? Okay, hearing none. Number 2. Anybody see any need for any changes? Okay, number 3, the matter of the budget.
Chair,
Yes.
this is Holly. I would recommend that the board consider increasing the amount of the special projects and consultation. I don't know that $81,000 is going to be sufficient, and it is better to have a budget that will give you a little bit of cushion in case you want to do something in addition to, what the board is currently considering. So I would recommend the increase in that budget.
Thank you, Holly. I'll open the floor for any additional discussion. I'll share my opinion. I agree with Attorney General Shikata. In my conversations or review of the information that was presented to us by Adalist, I think there are some steps that the board can or may want to take in the future that the $81,000 would not be sufficient for us to achieve what our goals would be. So I too would second that recommendation. Does anybody have any suggestions on a proposed amount for change? Adrian?
I don't have a proposed amount, but if the numbers reflect the remaining or the half of the fiscal year in terms of like the administrator being 120, the OA being 44, do we keep that in mind so that the 81 would be flipped additionally to what, 162? Is that what the thinking is, or should we just raise the ceiling amount as is now?
Yeah, this is Holly. I don't know that we need to double it, but I do think we should increase it. You know, I would think potentially to maybe 120,000 or something around that nature. We will have to do a change in our AG budget as well, so we'll have to add the increased amount. But I'm thinking somewhere around that range, but I will leave it to others on the board to suggest different amounts.
Well, Holly, that was the number that was ringing in my head. So is there anyone that has a different suggestion on that number? All right, hearing none or seeing none, then we will change the special projects and consultation request to 120,000. Attorney General Shikata, thank you for offering to make that adjustment in your budget request. I really deeply appreciate that. Was there any other items on the annual report that we needed to review and approve? Are there any other numbers here that we need to address? Or is everybody satisfied with that being sufficient? I guess the better question is there anyone that would like to make any recommendations for modifications on the proposed budget?
I'll move to amend the budget request. Is that what we need to do?
I think that would be beneficial because, oh no, Adrian, we would need to do that in agenda item number 6. Then we'll defer that motion because I think that we should handle that probably in agenda item number 6.
Thank you.
So Chair, we
Yes.
might want to put this on hold and then go to item 6, because if the motion isn't approved for item 6, then this report has to go back to the 81,000.
Okay, so can I have a motion to defer or to table the discussion on item number 8, annual report on Law Enforcement Standards Board, and move to agenda item number 6 for the board to make a discussion and recommendation and decision-making on the LSB board budget inclusion and internal general budget proposals.
So moved.
I think that
Second.
would, who was number 1?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, sure.
Thank you, Jared. Who is 2?
I second.
Can you say your name? Because I don't have your.
Oh,
your
sorry,
name.
Adrian.
Oh, thank you, Adrian. Oh, it tells me up top. I'm looking for pictures to light up. All right, so we'll table this discussion. So moving over then to agenda item number 6, the update on the board budget request. Based on the previous discussion, there was a conversation about amending the special projects and consultation budget to 120,000. So at this time, I'll open the floor for any discussion on the budget requests made to the Attorney General's office for inclusion in the board budget. So I'll open the floor for any discussion and or recommendations and motions for the proposed budget.
Chair, this is Holly. I would recommend that the proposed budget for special projects and consultation be amended to $120,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Thank you, Jared. Okay, by voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any, oh, my brain just went blank. Any who oppose? Hearing none, then that topic of changing special projects and consultation amount for the request to be $120,000 is passed. Now, I think that concludes agenda item number 6. So we will now go back to agenda item number 8, the annual report on Law Enforcement Standards Board, so we can finalize discussion and any amendments and approve the report to be submitted to the legislature. So the budget there has been approved, Lauren. So if we scroll down, I think to number, are we good there on number 4 and number 5? Looks like it. All right, so under item number 4 on recommended legislation. Were there any additional changes that were necessary in this language, Lauren? Is there just 7? Is number 7 the end of that document?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't see any additional changes under item number 4. Am I missing anything? Okay, it seems then that the annual report's been reviewed. Any last minute discussion on the annual report? Okay, hearing none, can I have, I'll open the floor for a motion to accept the board report. The annual report, I'm sorry, the annual report for the legislation.
I'll make a motion to accept the report, Chair.
Thank you, Jared. Is there a second?
Second, Craig Tanaka.
Thank you, Craig. By voice vote, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the annual report on the Law Enforcement Standards Board as required to be submitted to the legislature has been approved by the board. Thank you, Lauren, for all your help on that. I think that concludes the matters that we needed to revisit after executive session and take action. Before I open the floor for a motion to adjourn, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Attorney General Shikata for her leadership, her assistance, and her guidance as a role and a member of the Attorney General's office. This board would not be able to do what it does without the full support of the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney Generals that participate and support me as the chair. And so I just want to thank you so much for the time that you've been here with us as a member of the board. Sad to see you go. I'm sure that you will have a new job title somewhere very soon in the next administration, but no matter where your travels go, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have the opportunity to work with you. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you. It's been my honor to actually be on this board with all of you. I thank all of you for the service that you do to the public, for the public. So thank you very much. And I hope our paths will cross in the future.
Anyone else with any last minute comments? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn, Chair.
So moved. I don't think we need a vote. Thank you all so much. I know that we will be back in touch with you. I just want to remind everybody with the legislative session, and we'll probably have to reconvene to discuss supporting the bill through the legislative session. So we'll stay tuned for the next meeting, and thank you all for your continued support. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Holidays.